Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Tasmania's racing minister has been grilled on matters of integrity and trust when placed in the hot seat of a parliamentary committee. Madeleine Ogilvie downplayed concerns of a widespread loss of confidence, hit with criticism around the handling of complaints to her office.
Facing the wrath of her political opponents, it was a previous exit explanation over a Tas racing boss that kicked off a barrage of scrutiny.
How can this committee have any confidence in what you're going to say today when you've previously misled us?
Mr. Willie, you may not like the answers that I give, and I understand that you're looking for a bit of a gotcha moment.
The grievances were aired during a public hearing that saw the Office of Racing Integrity put under the microscope, with Madeleine Ogilvie questioned over her capability to oversee the $200 million industry.
As I get about the industry, what I can say is I don't necessarily see that there is broad-scale loss of confidence.
Despite making that clear sentiment, she was unable to answer whether she had ever attended certain northern race events.
Have you ever met with the Launceston Pacing Club or been to a Mowbray harness racing event?
I will need to just have a conversation with Mr. Jacoby.
Those lack of clear responses saw tensions rise across the table.
Goodness, that was like pulling teeth. That was... took up far too much time.
An upcoming independent investigation into allegations of race fixing and animal welfare also dominated discussion.
But I am very concerned to make sure that anybody who brings forward a complaint or an issue it is protected.
It was a very theatrical performance from Minister Nothing to See Here Ogilvie.
Director of Racing Justin Helmick was noticeably missing from the table in a decision that's been described as disappointing by some politicians, with questions now raised as to whether he is the right person for the job.
There are several questions there that we would have liked to ask that go directly to him and what he knew.
I've not been presented with any evidence that would suggest any reasonable grounds to stand Mr Helmick down.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
As Australia's unemployment rate remains at historic lows, Tasmanian businesses are getting creative in a bid to attract and retain staff. A popular Launceston restaurant is offering its employees 4-day working weeks, encouraging a better life balance.
It's been serving 3 meals a day for the last 23 years, but Stillwater's scaling back. Breakfast diners will need to find somewhere else to eat from next month.
Everyone's been very understanding, which has been lovely. Of course, there's a lot of sadness and disappointment.
Rising costs and skilled labour shortages are being blamed.
We might have received maybe 50, 60 applicants in previous job ads. Since COVID, we would maybe be lucky to get 10.
Hoping to hold on to valuable workers, Stillwater's offering more days off the clock.
Yeah, the 4-day week is just to give a bit more work-life balance. The studies show about productivity and actually increased revenue.
Shorter working weeks have been the norm for more than a year at design firm S Group. Staff knock off at lunchtime on Fridays, giving them a head start on the weekend.
For a lot of people, it means they can pick their kid up from school 1 day a week, or they can go for a walk or run, walk the dog, or maybe even head down to the shack.
With the unemployment rate sitting at historic lows and businesses competing for workers, it pays to offer perks.
If we can retain good people, then year on year we get better at what we do as a team and as a business.
And avoid the hidden cost of hiring.
So if they can retain staff, they don't have to pay to recruit staff, and recruiting staff can be quite a long and expensive process.
Tasmanian employers finding taking care of staff is taking care of business. Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
Buyers have been spoilt for choice this March, with Hobart recording a significant rise in houses for sale. PropTrack revealing new listings grew by 5.8% in the past month. Experts say March is typically a busy month in Hobart. Hobart also coming in as the only capital city in Australia to lodge an annual rise in properties on the market, with the total number of houses for sale up by more than 83% in the year ending March. Regional Tasmania also showed a 5% hike compared to January. Tasmania's record level of police recruitment is continuing as the Academy records its highest intake of cadets. The state government says it all comes down to a more innovative training structure.
Locked and loaded on its target to bolster Tasmania's police force, the state government is pushing forward with its plan to accrue 1,449 officers by 2026, a record-breaking 77 recruits currently in training.
This is the largest cohort of recruits that we've ever seen. In the past, our biggest cohort was 48 recruits.
Here at our academy, they're working basically double time to make sure that they can get these recruits through.
The trainee constables are in the thick of a rigorous 7-month course, learning what it takes to be frontline ready. A number of mock scenarios employed to develop their physical and mental skills, from family violence role play to self-defence and firearms drills.
Having that real-world application here in a safer environment where we can really focus on honing our skills in that regard, it's very valuable.
With the training facility now up and running in Launceston, as well as more opportunities to undertake field work, the academy is more attractive and diverse than ever before.
Tasmania Police actually has the highest number of female police officers of any force in Australia, up over 40% now.
We want to represent our community. With more females in policing, we'll be able to represent and protect and serve our community to the best of our abilities. And I think Tasmania Police is going in the right direction for that.
Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Hobart City Council's Healthy Hobart program is now a year-round affair, with a new autumn-winter campaign kicking off to get more people out and about in the colder seasons. Several new sports have been added to the list, with a number of favourites back, including QUADBALL, to get the blood pumping.
QUADBALL's a very fast-paced and energetic sport. It's pretty chaotic to watch.
We'll be offering 51 separate activities and people can come and try a nice weekend taster event, or they can come on a more regular basis.
Around 6,000 people have participated in the program since it first started in 2017, with the extension set to send that figure much higher. This year's wine harvest is currently underway, prompting a warning about the danger smoke poses to grapes. Wine Tasmania says vineyards are particularly susceptible to smoke exposure, which can compromise the quality of grapes and taint the wine. Anyone planning on lighting a fire on their property is urged to consult with nearby vineyards first to prevent causing any damage to this year's vintage. Runner Jack Woodbury has been crowned a national champion in the most spectacular way in Brisbane. The Tasmanian was 20 metres behind the lead in the under-16 3,000 metres when he kicked it up a gear.
Woodbury, the Tasmanian, goes to the outside. It's Leighton, it's Woodbury, it's Leighton on the inside. But Woodbury says, how good is this?
Impressive. The championships will continue until Sunday. In local football, North Hobart is gearing up for a tough battle against reigning premiers Launceston in its home territory when all the TSL action returns on Saturday.
From what we've been able to train pre-season and then what we dished up on round one, I'm really looking forward to seeing the improvement, which I think there's a lot there from individually and as a team collectively. So.
The Lauderdale Bombers will be hunting their first win, but they aren't underestimating the on-field capability of the embattled Glenorchy lineup.
Once you get your tail up and you get a sniff of a victory, especially if you've been down for a while, it becomes quite addictive, that feeling. So we've got to do the right thing this week and build those right habits.
Third match up of the round will see Kingborough take on North Launceston at the Twin Ovals in what's expected to be a tight contest. KELLIE Froling is set to make her NBL 1 season debut this weekend as the Tornadoes touch down in Victoria. A gruelling doubleheader will see the team take on the Eltham Wildcats northeast of Melbourne on Saturday night before facing Bendigo on Sunday.
Yeah, it is kind of tough to play 2 games in that kind of scenario, not a lot of hours in between. But
you got to think other teams have to do it too.
So getting through one, recovery, doing scout for the next and getting on the road and travelling to Bendigo again, yeah, it's tough, but yeah, we find out a lot about each other.
It'll be the first time head coach Sarah Ville has led the team in Bendigo. Some of the state's top junior bowlers have been learning from the best in the business, an invitation-only event identifying young talent and helping plot a course to the big leagues.
They might not be out on the green, but these blue ribbon bowlers are bringing their best. The intensive program run by Bowls Australia helping give junior athletes a clearer pathway to the sport's upper echelons. Junior Australian champion Cody Marshall isn't going to let anything slow his roll.
I'm right into my bowl, so as far as I can, Australian level would be ideal.
Joining other young players in the session to learn from top athlete Karen Murphy, with Tasmanian bowls legend Beck Van Ash on deck to help shepherd the next generation.
We want to make sure that we're strong for the next 10 years, the next 20 years, and being able to work with athletes like this at a local level is going to help us do that.
Traditionally being seen as a sport belonging to a more silver set, Bowls Australia is keen to attract younger athletes.
The general image is that bowls is an older person's game, and there's a lot of older people play bowls, but all the best bowlers are young.
With Tasmania punching above its weight in national competition, the state's smaller cohort compared to the mainland isn't necessarily a negative for these talented teens.
There's 10 of us boys, so that we're all really good mates outside of bowls as well, so we all gel well and it just helps play bowls better.
Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
Good evening. 21 across Launceston and Devonport today. Burnie 19, 18 in Hobart. 22 was the state's top in the West Coast at Scotts Peak, 20 across Smithton and Lowhead, and 19 in Flinders Island. On the close-up, low cloud is seen banking up about the east coast of the state. Further out, tropical cyclone Ilsa is seen to the northwest of the continent with a large cold front crossing the far southwest. Tomorrow shows a ridge of high pressure over Tasmania with a strong cold front crossing the west. East to north-easterly winds tomorrow 10 to 20 knots, swells up to 2 metres in the west and south and below 1 metre in the north. A strong wind warning is current for the far northwest coast, southeast coast and the west coast. Tomorrow's forecast now: Hobart 18, cloudy and 19 across Huonville and Campania. In the north, Launceston 21, partly cloudy about Devonport and Georgetown. Burnie tomorrow, a shower or two, mostly sunny in Strawn, Wynyard 18 and showers expected. 17 and showers about St Helens and Swansea, and a shower or two and 18 in Port Arthur. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast now: Saturday, light showers about the northeast and northwest, rain developing in the afternoon elsewhere. Sunday, rain clearing to the east with showers developing elsewhere. And Monday, showers about the west and north, clearing mostly in the evening. Capital cities, 19 and a shower or two in Perth tomorrow. Adelaide 25 and showers easing in Sydney. And currently Hobart clear and 14, Launceston 16 and Devonport partly cloudy and 16. And we might not be seeing many more warmer days like today for much longer, with some wet weather on the way, Kim.
Okay, thank you very much, Jackie. And that is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us. Good night.